Have you ever been watching TV and something so crazy happens that you can believe what you're seeing, one aft hose times? Where you just have to look twice to make sure it's really happening well. That's exactly what happened when Johnny Depp got thrown off The View after a big fight with Whoopi Goldberg. Wild, right? It's the kind of thing that surprises you and leaves you wondering how it got so crazy so fast. But hey, that's live TV. Anything can happen, and sometimes what you see isn't what y'all think will happen. Picture this. You're sitting at home maybe, drinking your favorite drink, relaxing after a long day, and you turn in The View for a normal interview. The show has always been a mix of celebrity, hot opinions, and fun talks. It's one of those shows where you expect to see fun conversations, maybe even a few arguments, but nothing too crass or it's what most people watching were thinking when Johnny Depp came on the show. It was supposed to be another normal easy interview where Johnny would share some fun details about his newest movie. But what happened next wasn't anything but normal. Instead of usual chatting, viewers got hit with a crazy turn of events that no one saw coming. Johnny Depp, the man with a reputation for being a bit of a rebel, gets into a big fight with none other than Whoopi Goldberg. Not just any fight, a clash so intense that Johnny is asked to leave the set. Can you even picture it? It's one of those jaw-dropping moments where you're sitting there thinking, wait, what just happened? Did they really just kick Johnny Depp off the show? I mean Johnny Depp, Whoopi Goldberg, two of Hollywood's most well-known people going head-to-head on live TV. It's not something you expect to see every day. These two are not just celebrities, they're icons in their own right. Johnny is the dark movie star who's been a household name for decades. Whoopi, on the other hand, is a trailblazer, a legend in Hollywood, known for her sharp wit and no-nonsense way of seeing the world. So when these two fight, it's going to be something big. Now imagine being in the audience or watching at home when this all goes down. You'd probably think it was some sort of fake drama at first, right? But Nepethys was real-life things. Got so crazy so quickly that in a matter of moments, the whole feeling of the show changed from a friendly celebrity chat to a full-blown fight. It's the kind of stuff that makes you pause the video and go, did that really just happen? And yes, it did so. Let's go back and break it down a little bit. What exactly happened on that crazy day on The View? Well, it all started nicely enough. Johnny Depp came on the show as any guest would, ready to talk about his latest movie. Youth talk show was buzzing, and everyone's expecting the usual light-hearted chat. Whoopi, the veteran host, was there to guide the conversation bit right from the start. You could feel that something was wrong. Johnny Depp, a suit expect, wasn't exactly being the quiet, shy guest. No, he was speaking his mind as always, and that was when the sparks started to fly. Whoopi, of course, wasn't going to just sit there and let Johnny have the floor without pushing back a little. She's not the type of person who lets anyone get away with making bold statements without challenging them, and honestly, that's what makes her such a good hostess. Tough but fair. But as the conversation went on, both of them started getting more and more passionate. Johnny was digging in his heels, standing firm in his opinions, and Whoopi wasn't having it. It was one of those moments where both sides just refused to back down, and that's when the tension started. So build. You could practically feel the heat in there as Johnny and Whoopi exchange thoughts. It wasn't just a casual debate, it was an all-out clash of personality. Ever the confident, outspoken person was standing his ground on some pretty controversial issues. He wasn't holding back. He was speaking his mind. Ash always does, but Whoopi, she wasn't Oneto just let things slide. She fired back with her own opinions, and the debate went from friendly to heated in a matter of seconds. And this is where things started to take a turn. Up until now, the conversation was a lively exchange of ideas, but now it was more than that. Johnny was pushing harder, not giving an inch, and Whoopi was doing the same at this point. It wasn't just about having a respectful conversation. It had become a battle of wills. They were both so caught up in the argument that the usual flow of the interview was completely gone. It wasn't about the topic anymore. It was about who was right and who was wrong. The tension was building with every passing minute. The audience could feel it, and the people at home were probably on the edge of their seats. It was getting louder. It was getting more intense. And that's when the situation hit a boiling point. Johnny, thinking he was making a powerful argument, pushed it back even harder, but Whoopi, she had to know the back and forth was getting worse and mued, and she wasn't going to let it go any further. In a dramatic moment, she immediately called to end the debate right then and there. Whoopi, feeling that things had gone too far, decided it was time for Johnny to leave the set. Imagine being in that moment. You're watching, expecting to see a casual interview, and suddenly one of the biggest stars in Hollywood is being asked to leave a major talk show. It was shocking, unexpected, and totally out of left field. Johnny Depp kicked off The View in the middle of an interview. How crazy is that? No, you're probably sitting there wondering, what did Johnny say to get kicked off? Was it something he said that crossed the line? Was it a single commenter? Was it the overall tone of the conversation? Well, here's the thing. It wasn't a boo tone particular thing Johnny said. It was more about the entire exchange. Johnny wasn't backing down, and Whoopi wasn't going to let him take over the discussion. The whole conversation had gotten so heated that it was clear neither of them was going to give an inch, and at that moment Whoopi decided it was time to cut the conversation short. It wasn't just about having a difference of opinion anymore. It was about whether the conversation could continue in a good way, and for Whoopi, the answer was no. So she did what thought was best in that moment, shuttled Johnny to leave, and just like that, the whole thing was over. After the incident, social media exploded. Were talking about it everywhere, in Twitter, on Facebook, and in every comment section. Across the internet, their actions were mixed. Some people sided with Johnny, saying that Whoopi had been too harsh. They felt like Johnny had a right to express his opinions, and that Whoopi overreacted. On the other hand, there were plenty of people who felt that Johnny was out of line. They argued that he was disrespectful to Whoopi and the show, and that he should have handled the situation differently. Personally, I can see where both sides are coming from. Johnny Depp has always been known for his rebellious nature. He's never been known to hold back his thoughts, and that's part of his charm. But at the same time, Whoopi Goldberg has been in the public eye for decades. She's seen it all, and she's no stranger to tough conversations. When the debate turned into a full-on confrontation, it's not surprising that she made the call to end it. It's one of those situations where both parties had valid points, but neither of them were able to see the other. Johnny was determined to stand his ground, and Whoopi wasn't going to let them get away with taking over the conversation. The end. It was a clash of two strong personalities, and unfortunately, it led to Johnny being kicked off the set. So can we learn from all of this? Well, there are a few things that stand out. First, staying calm during two conversations is key. We've all been in situations where we get heated, but it's important to take a step back and remember that sometimes it's better to stay cool. Johnny's opinions were obviously important to him, but maybe in a more controlled manner could have helped the conversation stay more productive. On the flip side, Whoopi's decision to cut the conversation short is a good reminder that sometimes walking away is the best option. We've all been in situations where we feel like we need to prove a point, but it means the most powerful thing you can do is just step back and say, okay, this isn't working. If Johnny had done that, maybe things wouldn't have gotten so crazy so quickly, but Whoopi also knew when it was time to walk away, and that's a powerful move. And finally, it's always a good idea to avoid public fights like this. While drama can be entertaining for the audience, it can also have lasting consequences both for the people involved and for the wider public perception of those involved, sure. We all love a bit of drama from time to time. It's human nature to enjoy a little spectacle now and then. Reality TV thrives on this kind of conflict, and we're all familiar with the way a juicy argument can keep us glued to the screen. But when the drama spills into the real world, especially on such a big platform like The View, the stakes are much higher than simply entertaining the audience. Johnny Depp and Whoopi Goldberg are both incredibly talented and respected people in the entertainment world. They've each earned their place in Hollywood and have legacies that span decades. Depp is known for his iconic roles in films like Pirates of the Caribbean, where his portrayal of Captain Jack Sparrow became a cultural phenomenon. His ability to disappear into a character and bring something unique to the screen has made him one of the most recognizable actors of his generation. The other hand, Whoopi Goldberg has been a powerhouse in her own right, breaking boundaries as an actress, comedian, and television host. She has had a diverse career with standout roles in movies like The Color Purple and Ghost. Her long-running tenure on The View has cemented her as one of the most influential voices in daytime TV, with such massive reputations on the line. The fallout from a public confrontation can affect more than just the immediate people involved. For Johnny and Whoopi, the incident on The View wasn't just a random moment of conflict. It was a moment where both of them, two of Hollywood's brightest stars, allowed their emotions to take over in a public space. While it's easy to understand the passion behind their argument, especially considering how strongly they both feel about their respective viewpoints, it's hard to ignore the long-term impact that this kind of altercation can have when two powerful people like Johnny and Whoopi have a public falling out. It doesn't just impact their relationship, it also impacts how their audience perceives them. For Whoopi, she's the trusted voice that's been guiding discussions for years on The View. Her audience looks to her for wisdom, humor, and thoughtfulness. But when she had to kick Johnny off the set, some might wonder if she could have handled the situation with more grace or diplomacy-wise. There a way to resolve the conflict without it getting so much worse? Could the conversation have been steered in a more productive direction? These are questions that viewers might be left asking, and those questions could affect how people perceive her as a host in the future. For Johnny, on the other hand, this incident only added to the narrative that has followed him for some time, of controversy and unpredictabilities. The past few years, Johnny has been in and out of the public eye for various reasons, some personal and others professional. Personal life has often made headlines from his very public divorce, legal battles, and other controversies. In a way, Johnny's public persona has become associated with drama, and unpredictability. Incident on The View could easily add fuel to this fire. While many fans admire his authenticity and unapologetic, there are others who might now view him as someone who's not always in control of his emotions, especially when in the spotlight. Truth is, public confrontations like this can tarnish the way people see you, and emotions run high and both parties get caught up in the heat of the moment. It can be hard to recover the same level of respect and professionalism that Yahoo had before, while both Johnny and Whoopi are no doubt capable of bouncing back from this. The incident will likely stay with them for a while. It serves as a reminder to both celebrities and the general public that maintaining composure even when things get heated is key to protecting your public image. It's not about suppressing your emotions centrally. After all, passion is what drives us to be who we are. But there's a difference between standing your ground and losing control of the situation. Knowing where to draw that line is crucial. And it's not just about protecting one's image. It's also about setting an example for other. Celebrities are often seen as role models, whether they want to be or not. People, especially younger audience, look up to them, copying their behavior and learning from their actions. When you let a public argument spiral out of control, you're not just setting a bad example for your fans, you're also contributing to the culture of lineage and division that often takes over the internet in today's age, where opinions are shared at lightning speed across social media platforms. The last thing anyone wants to see is a high-profile personality resorting to a public confrontation that only divides people further at the end of the day. This incident on The View is a stark reminder that we should always try to keep things respectful, even when we disagree. It's okay to have strong opinions, and it's okay to challenge the views of others, but there's a way to do it that fosters healthy dialogue. Instead of creating division, respect doesn't mean always agreeing with someone. It means acknowledging their right to have their own perspective while expressing yours in a way that promotes understanding, not conflict. In an ideal world, we'd all be able to engage in debates and discussions that allow for different viewpoints to be heard without things getting personal or a skeleton ginto. Something ugly. It's not always easy, but it's definitely possible. And in the case of Johnny Depp and Whoopi Goldberg, both of them are experienced professionals who know the importance of maintaining a level of decorum even when the conversation turns intense. While it's understandable that tempers flare in certain situations, this moment on The View should serve as a cautionary tale, a reminder that we all need to take a step back and assess the situation before let emotions dictate our actions. Who knows, maybe in the future, both Johnny and Whoopi will reflect on this moment and learn from it, just as we all can, because in the end, respecting each other, whether you agree or not, makes for a much healthier environment for everyone involved, especially in a public forum. This experience, though dramatic, is a learning opportunity for all of you, celebrity or not. It shows that it's not about being right. To both, you handle the situation and whether or not you can walk away with your integrity intact. Let's hope that next time we see Johnny and Whoopi together, it's under better circumstances. One where the conversation flows smoothly and the respect for each other's throw, because after all, we all have disagreements, but it's how we handle them that truly defines us. And when it comes to public figures like Johnny Depp and Whoopi Goldberg, the world is always watching, so setting a positive example can go a long way in maintaining not only your reputation, but also the respect of those who look up to you. Now let me ask you, who do you think was in the right? Was Johnny justified in standing his ground? Or do you think Whoopi had every right to cut him off? I'd love to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment below and let's talk about it. And if you like this story, you're going to want to check out our other videos on celebrity drama. We've got plenty more juicy stories that will keep you hooked, so make sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you never miss another update. There's so much more coming your way, and I can't wait to share it with you.